Welcome back. So today's video we're going to talk about why nobody lives forever. So in the last week or so, a well-known fitness person, Richard Simmons, passed away. Now I don't know a great deal about this person. It was well before my time, but it really brought back something that a lot of people comment about when anybody who's fit and anybody who's healthy, anybody who promotes these things gets anything, whether it's they get heart disease, they get cancer, or they die at what people would consider not an overly old age. You know, he was 70 something, 76, I believe, years old at the time of his death. And so people will say things like, well, you know, all this fitness and all that, what's the point if you're not even going to live that long? Well, the reality is that nobody lives forever. Nobody lives for 200 years. Even the oldest people are going to live till they're 110 or 120. And the average is still, you know, the average life expectancy in most developed countries now is in the early to mid 80s. So, regardless of what you do, regardless of how hard you try to increase the length of your life, you know, there's only so much you can do about that. There's always going to be a finite length to your life. And what I think people often overlook with fitness is that it's a lot more about the present day than it is about the long term. Now, this isn't to say that fitness is also not on average. You know, on average, people who are fit and healthy do live significantly longer than those that aren't. But even if that wasn't the case, and even if you are one of the unlucky few that pass away quite early in life, the reality is, you know, even for me and for a lot of people, the motivation to be fit, to be healthy, has nothing to do with trying to live till 120 years old or anything like that. There are some people in the longevity kind of fitness world who really like that idea, but even in that span, even in that part of the fitness community, you know, it is always still about quality of life. It's about the ability to keep doing things as you age rather than, you know, increasing your lifespan indefinitely for no real good reason other than just getting to that, you know, higher age with no real uh, no real look at what the actual quality of life is there. So, if you consider the last years of most people's lives, and especially in the developed world now, where you know people might, we've actually done quite a good job at extending the lifespan of people. We've been able to, on average, increase the number of years that most people live, but most people, the majority, are now living the last often few decades of their life with a huge range of health problems, with a whole lot of health issues, with a reduced quality of life that stems and is enhanced and made worse by lifestyle issues like being overweight, being obese, not eating well, not being mobile enough, not being fit enough, not having enough muscle mass to do things, not having that strength. And so when I consider fitness, when I look at what the reasons I do fitness, it's to be capable right now. It's to build the capacity to be able to do the work that I do, but also the hobbies that I enjoy, to have the most energy that I can have, and to maintain my ability to do these things for as long as I can. Now, I can't tell the future. I can't tell if I live till I'm 50, 60, 70, 80, 120. I don't know. But I do know that the effort that I put in for my fitness now rewards me immediately. It rewards me in the day that I do it, as well as in the weeks, the months, and the years that follow. It doesn't have to be about this longevity thing. It doesn't have to be about living forever. And so a lot of people get that idea twisted. They think that all these people out there are exercising or they're eating well for some sort of long-term thing, and they'll say like, well, I'm not going to live forever, so why bother to be healthy? Well, the thing is, you probably will live for a fair while, and with modern medicine, uh, you'll likely be kept alive a lot longer than you may have been in the past. But will that be a quality life? Will that be a life that you can actually still be doing the things that you enjoy doing? And even if you're younger, if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, do you have the energy? Do you have the strength? Do you have the capability? Do you have the, you know, capability to do the things that you want to do right now with your current fitness level and health level, because that's what's far more important than going from someone who dies when they're like Richard Simmons when they're 76 versus 85. You know, if he lived the next 10 years but he was unable to do absolutely anything because of his physical limitations, then most people consider that, well, was that really much of an achievement? Was that really worth that much? As opposed to someone who could live till they're 70 or 80 years old, but right up until very, very close to that time where they die, they are still very capable, they are still very fit, they are still very healthy. And when we look at what fitness and health does, it's about tipping the scale in your favor, because there's always going to be the game of luck. There's always going to be the genetic chance, the environmental factors that you may be exposed to. There's always going to be things that may mean that you develop some sort of issue, or you may already have some issue that gets exacerbated as you get older, and that you won't survive as long as other people. But by being fit, by being healthy, by working on those things in your life, you can tip the scale in your favor, and you can make the most of what you have with the time that you do have. So don't worry about longevity too much. Consider about what is the short term, because it's very hard to consider what's happening decades away, especially when you're younger. But you'll feel better even today from your morning workout. You'll feel better next week because you've started to eat better and exercise more. So that's what we should be focusing on, and not worrying so much about longevity.